Hi my dear friends, welcome back to another Python tutorial class. In this class, we shall dive deep into dictionary. So already we have covered few aspects of dictionary. Those are only written here. A dictionary is a group of key value pairs. A dictionary is a group of key value pairs that are separated by commas and stored inside the curly braces symbol. This we have already seen that for define a dictionary, in order to define a dictionary, you need to have curly braces. Inside the curly braces, we place the keys to value pairs which are separated from each other by commas. Then the next point is in a dictionary, every key value pair is referred to as an element or item. So every key value pair of the dictionary is treated as an element or an item. Third one is while values can be replicated, keys should not be and keys cannot be also. Okay, like in case of dictionary, you can have duplicate values but not duplicate keys. Keys are always unique. The most recent value is updated but no new key is produced if we have a duplicate key. So key in the keys to value pair, what will happen is that you have keys to value and the values can be duplicated but not the keys. Now even if you see that you have a duplicate key, it doesn't mean that a duplicate key has been created. Rather, that key updates to the latest value. Now here you have a dictionary. Dic is equals to, and inside the curly braces you have 10 is to 100 comma 20 is to 200. 10 is to 100, 10 is to 100. This is the first element of the dictionary or the first item of the dictionary. The first key is to value pair. 10 is the key, 100 is the value, comma. Then here you have the second keys to value pair of the dictionary. 20 is to 200. First you had 10 is to 100 where 10 is the key, 100 is its value. Second, you have second item or the second element of the dictionary is this keys to value pair where 20 is the key and 200 is its value. So total there are two elements inside this dictionary. Print dic comma type dic, it will print this dictionary. 10 is to 100 comma 20 is to 200 and the class is dict. Run this. Now some properties that we have to remember. Only hashable items, only hashable items are chosen as keys. Hashable items mean objects which are immutable. Objects which are immutable, such as your string, tuple, frozen set, those are hashable items, and even integer or float. Okay, so those should be chosen as the keys of a dictionary. So again, here hashable items are like your float, int, tuple, string, frozen set. These are your hashable items, and these hashable items should be only chosen as your keys. And hashable items, by that we mean immutable objects. Once defined, cannot be modified. In the next line, the dictionary key cannot be any unhashable item. So, unhashable is nothing but the opposite of hashable. As I told you, only hashable items should be chosen as keys. Hashable items, by that we mean basically immutable objects. Okay, those only should be chosen as keys like tuple, string, frozen set, then int, float. Those should be chosen as the dictionary keys. Dictionary key cannot be any unhashable item. Unhashable item, by that we mean any mutable object. Any mutable object. Okay, so that mutable object is known as a unhashable item, and that should not be used as a dictionary key. In Python, almost all immutable objects are hashable. In Python, almost all immutable objects are hashable. And the next one is unhashable items. Already we know unhashable item means mutable object. Once defined, can be modified also. Unhashable items should not be used as dictionary keys. What are unhashable items? Like set, list. Okay, set, list. These are your unhashable items. These should not be used as dictionary keys. Then in the next cell, hash value. What is a hash value? First of all, a hashable object is any object that yields a hash value. Okay. The hash value is returned by hash method. So you have a method known as hash method, and this method returns a hash value. And any object is known as hashable whenever it yields a hash value. That is known as a hashable object. An integer value that never changes is called a hash value. Okay, so what is a hash value? It is an integer value that never changes. That is known as a hash value. A type error returned by hash method. Whenever the hash method returns a type error, it indicates that the item cannot be hashed. So, like here, as I told you, a hashable object is any object that yields a hash value. So, any hashable object will yield a hash value, and the hash value is returned by the hash method. And what is hash value? It is an integer that never changes. Now, a type error is returned by the hash method whenever the item is an unhashable item. Okay. So, if you have an unhashable item or object, in that case, the hash method returns a type error indicating that the item is not a hashable item. And what is the purpose for which the hash value is used? It is used for internal memory management. So internal memory management makes use of hash values. Internal memory management makes use of hash values. Okay. Now coming down, for example, b is equals to 20. Hash of b. Hash of b. You see, already I told you b is equals to 20. 20 is an integer. So this b becomes a hashable item or a hashable object because of integer. And a hashable item or hashable object can be used as a dictionary key. Now, when I apply this hash method on B, then what I get? I get here a hash value. This is not the integer value, but this is the hash value, which is an integer value, and that is used for internal memory management. Okay. Here, then in the next, you have B is equals to 2.5. Then I apply hash over B. B is equals to 2.5. 2.5 is a float value. So B is nothing but a float object. A float object is nothing but your hashable item or a hashable object that can be used as a dictionary key. Okay, means immutable. Now if I apply hash method, if I apply hash method over B, where B is a hashable item or a hashable object, then it returns the hash value. This hash method I'm applying over this hashable object B. Why B is a hashable object? Because it is a float object that can be used as a dictionary key. Okay, once defined cannot be modified. Now when I apply this hash method over this hashable object B, then I get the hash value, which is this one. It is used for internal memory management. It is an integer value only. Okay. Then in the next, B is equals to, here you have a string value. So B is your string object. That means B is a hashable object or a hashable item that can be used as a dictionary key, because string is also immutable. Once defined cannot be modified. Then I apply hash over B. Hashable, I apply the hash method over B, where B is the hashable object, and this shall return this hash value, which is an integer used for internal memory management. Okay. Then coming down here, B is equals to, here as you can see, here you have tuple values separated from each other by commas. So B also becomes a hashable item or a hashable object because it belongs to the tuple class, which is an immutable object, and that can be used as a dictionary key. And when I apply this hash method over B, where B is an hashable object, where B is a hashable object or hashable item, then it does not throw any type error. Rather, it throws the hash value, which is an integer used for internal memory management. Okay. And same goes for this frozen set also. Here also, B becomes your hashable item or hashable object because this becomes the frozen set. B is equals to frozen set. Instead of frozen set, you're passing this list 10, 20, 30. So frozen set, as we know, is an immutable object. Okay, so B becomes a hashable item or a hashable object because it belongs to the class frozen set. Once defined cannot be modified. So this can be used as a dictionary key where B is your hashable object or hashable item. So when I apply hash method over B, where B is the hashable object, then it throws the hash value, which is an integer value used for internal memory management. Okay. Now here you have a list. Inside the list, you have these values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've assigned it to this variable L. So what do you say? L is a hashable object. L, this L, it belongs like L here is nothing but your list. So is it an hashable item or is it an unhashable item? Definitely an unhashable item, or you can say an unhashable object. L is equals to a list being assigned here. So L, it is a hashable item or an unhashable item. It is definitely an unhashable item, unhashable object, because once defined can be modified also. There is the property of list. So it is not immutable, rather mutable. Cannot be used as the dictionary key. Hash method can be applied only over hashable object. So when I apply hash over L, am I applying the hash method over a hashable object? The answer is no, because L is not a hashable object or a hashable item. L is rather an unhashable item or an unhashable object. So in this case, you won't get any output value, rather you get this type error. In this case, it throws the type error, unhashable type list. Okay, you can just run this. Yeah. Next is here you have a dictionary my underscore emp is equals to. These are again some fictional keys and values taken here. Like here, suppose you have an organization, and inside that organization, I am trying to keep the database of some of certain employee. So you have this curly brace opening, and then you have curly brace closing, and inside this we give the keys to value pairs. The first key is to value pair. There is the first element of the dictionary. Then the second key is to value pair. There is the second element of the dictionary. Third key is to value pair. There is the third element of the dictionary. Fourth key is to value pair. There is the fourth element of the dictionary. And here you have keys to value pairs. EMP is the key and its corresponding value is John. Okay. Fictional name. Age is the key. 32 is its corresponding value. COMP. COMP comp means company. The COMP that is for company is the key and XYZ is the value, corresponding value. Then place. Place is the key and its corresponding value is Mumbai. So these are again fictional data being taken here just for education purposes. Now, if you run this cell, the dictionary is created. Without running, the dictionary doesn't get created. Now, how to access the value? Here you give my underscore EMP, and inside the square brackets, you mention the key. Here, what is the key? This is a string value. Here the key is a string value, that is EMP. So just like how you utilize a string, that is how you have to define it. Single inverted commas, and inside the single inverted commas, you write the name of the key, which is EMP. So what happens here is my underscore EMP, and then inside the square bracket, you're mentioning the key. So the corresponding value of the key will be yielded out. What is the corresponding value of this key EMP? What is the corresponding value of this key EMP? It is John. So you get the value John here. Okay. Next is my underscore EMP. Then inside the square brackets, I'm mentioning another key. Which key? This key is your place. It is definitely present inside this dictionary place. So corresponding value of this key will be yielded out, which is nothing but your Mumbai. So Mumbai is yielded out. Okay. Alien, that is for length over what you're applying. Alien over my underscore emp, that is dictionary of the dictionary, length of the dictionary. How many number of elements this dictionary has got? It has got 4 number of elements, because I told you each and every keys to value pair is an element of a dictionary. So there are 4 keys to value pairs inside this dictionary. That means there are 4 elements inside this dictionary. So that's why this alien function yields the value of 4. Now suppose I give my underscore emp, then within the square brackets I mention 1. So it will look for the key 1. Python will look for the key value of 1 inside this dictionary. Anywhere 1 is present? No. 1 is present nowhere as a key. So it throws key error. Key error. Okay. Just type this. Sorry, run this. Yeah. Then next you have operations that can be performed on a dictionary. Only length operation can be performed on a dictionary. No concatenation, no repetition, no indexing, no slicing. Previously, we saw that in case of list, in case of tuple, you can apply concatenation, repetition, indexing, slicing, length, but not in case of dictionary. In case of dictionary, you can simply apply the length operation only, but no concatenation, no repetition, no indexing, no slicing. Why? Because dictionary does not follow any indexing, and as a result it does not follow any sequencing. Okay, so that's why. Now next is ways to generate a dictionary. What are the ways to generate a dictionary? Way 1, my underscore emp is equals to, again you see the same keys to value pairs I think I've taken. Yeah, comp means company, any arbitrary name I've given, like for example XYZ. This is just for education purposes, that's why randomly I've taken. So in this way, you can create a dictionary, print my underscore emp, it yields out the dictionary elements. Okay. The next is way number 2. Way number 2 is using the dict function. Way number two is by using the dict function. Okay. What is the theory here? Theory here is inside the dict function or method, inside the dict method, we pass two iterables, that is outer iterable, and inside it, inside means inside the outer iterable, one inner iterable. So again, inside the dict method, we pass two iterables. One is your outer iterable, and the other one is the inner iterable. Inner iterable will be enclosed inside the outer iterable. Inside the inner iterable, we must pass two elements. Inside the inner iterable, we must pass two elements. The first element becomes the key, while the second element becomes the value. Okay. So let us see here. First of all, you apply the dict method. Here you have dict. This is the predefined method inside Python. And definitely for any method, you have the opening and closing brackets. Then inside the dict method, we pass two iterables. We pass two iterables. First iterable is the outer iterable, which is the list. How can you identify it? Here you have the opening square bracket, and here you have the closing square bracket. Inside these square brackets, I pass an inner iterable, which is nothing but this inner list. So altogether speaking, you have an outer list represented by these opening and closing square brackets. This is the outer iterable, outer list. Inside this, you have to pass an inner iterable, that is your inner list, which is this one. Okay. And inside the inner iterable, what happens? You have to pass two elements. Inside the inner iterable, you have to pass two elements. The first element is the key, and the second element is the value. So here, name is the key, John is the corresponding value. So if you run this cell, here you get a dictionary. Name is, you see, here you get a keys to value pair. Here we get a keys to value pair, where you see name is the key, John is the value. Okay. The next is again dict method. Inside the dict method, you are passing an outer iterable, which is your outer list as represented by this opening square bracket. And then here you have the closing square bracket. And this is nothing but your outer iterable, that is outer list. Inside this, I am passing a tuple. Inside this outer iterable, that is outer list, I am passing a tuple. Inside this tuple, you have two elements. Inside this tuple, you have two elements. First element is the key, and the second element is the value. So here name is the key, John is the value. So if you run this cell, then you get a dictionary again by the same keys to value pair, that is name is the key, John is the value. Okay. The next in this particular cell, again you have the dict method. Inside the dict method, what I'm trying to pass here is an outer iterable. Outer iterable means here it is the tuple. By outer iterable, I mean here that outer iterable is your tuple mentioned by this bracket and this closing bracket. Now inside the outer iterable, that is inside the tuple, we have to pass an inner iterable, and the inner iterable also I'm passing a tuple. This inner iterable also I'm passing as a tuple. So basically inside the dict method, overall you're passing an outer iterable represented by the opening and the closing brackets. First one. Now inside the outer iterable, which is a tuple here, inside the outer iterable, we have to pass the inner iterable also. Inner iterable also. What is the inner iterable here? Inner iterable here is this tuple, an inner tuple. So outer tuple, inside that you have an inner tuple. And how can you identify that? Because here you have these brackets opening and then closing, after which you have the comma. Okay, here for the inner iterable, you have the opening bracket, and then you have the closing bracket followed by this comma. So definitely it will be treated as a tuple, the inner iterable. And inside the inner iterable, you have to pass two elements. The first element becomes the key, second element becomes the value. So if you run this cell, you get a dictionary again, where name is the key, John is the value. Okay, corresponding keys to value pair. Then further, again here you see dict method, and inside the dict method, I am trying to pass this outer iterable. Okay, I'm trying to pass this outer iterable, that is mentioned by, that is identified by this opening bracket, and here you have this closing bracket. Inside this outer iterable, you have to pass an inner iterable, and this inner iterable also I'm passing in the form of a tuple, in the form of a tuple. Otherwise, if you don't give comma here, you will get, you see, value error, because outer iterable is not any list, outer iterable is not any set, Outer iterable is simply I am trying to convey to Python that it is nothing but your tuple, and that is represented by the opening and closing first brackets. So inside that, whenever an iterable you have to pass, you have to give comma to make it identifiable as a tuple. Okay. So now if you see here, if you give comma here, then you get your keys to value pair, because inside this outer iterable, I am passing this inner iterable. What is this inner iterable? This inner iterable is a list. This inner iterable is a list, and inside tuple values are to be followed by commas. So here one element only you have got, that one element is nothing but your list, and that is followed by a comma. That is how you need to give values inside tuples: value comma value, otherwise value comma value comma value comma value. In that way also tuple can be defined, and value comma only just one value followed by a comma, that can be also identified as a overall tuple. Okay, so here we have given this outer iterable by represented by this opening first bracket and by this closing square bracket. By this closing like opening first bracket, here you have opening first bracket, here you have, and the closing first bracket, here you have. So I'm trying to convey to Python that this outer iterable is nothing but your tuple. Inside this outer iterable, now I have to pass the inner iterable. This inner iterable that I'm trying to pass here is a list. And this overall will work only if this list is followed by a comma. Okay. Then the outer iterable will be treated as your tuple only. Okay. Now, so if you run this cell, you see, you get your dictionary, because overall you're passing this entire thing inside the dict method. Overall you're passing this entire thing inside the dict method. So you see you have keys to value pair. What is the key here? Key is your name and its corresponding value is John. As you can easily identify that inside the inner iterable you have to pass two elements. Inside the inner iterable, you have to pass two elements. The first element will be taken up as the key, and the second element will be taken up as the value. So first element here is name, which is the key, and its corresponding value is John. And for the outer iterable, if you want to identify it as a tuple, then inside it you have to pass an inner iterable followed by a comma. Then only it will be overall treated as a tuple. Outer iterable will be treated as a tuple, because out for tuple you have the first brackets, and values can be inserted inside the first brackets. Values can be inserted without the first brackets also, so Python shouldn't get confused. Okay, so this inner iterable is nothing but your list. Inside the inner iterable you're passing two elements. First element is this name, which will be taken as key. Second element is this value John, which is the name, that will be taken as the value. Okay, first element is this name, which is taken up as the key. Second element is this John, which is taken up as the corresponding value of the key, and you get a dictionary keys to value pair. Okay, then moving to the next one, like we have already covered enumerate method. Enumerate method inside the dict method. Enumerate method inside the dict method. So enumerate method already we have covered two times. Once in case of list, once in case of tuple. If you have missed out those videos, then I would like to request you to kindly visit those videos. Enumerate method. It returns an enumerate object. Just like the previous cases also, like in case of list and tuple also. It enumerate method, when we use it, returns an enumerate object. It maps all the elements of the iterable with the numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1. So it maps all the elements of the iterable with numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1. To fetch the elements from the enumerate object, we can pass it, that is pass the enumerate object to dict, that is dict method, so as to get a dictionary. Okay, to fetch the elements from the enumerate object, we can pass it to dict to get a dictionary. Previously, if you remember, to fetch the elements from the enumerate object, we can pass it to the list to get list of tuples, or we can pass it to tuple to get tuple of tuples, or we can pass to the dict method to get a dictionary. Okay, the numbers from 0 to length of iterable minus 1, they will become the keys. The numbers from 0 to length of iterable minus 1, they become the keys, and the elements they basically become the values. The elements, they become the values. These should be values. Elements become the values. Okay. So these couple of points you have to remember. Enumerate method, it returns an enumerate object. It maps all the elements of the iterable with numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1. To fetch the elements from the enumerate object, we can pass it to dict to get a dictionary. Otherwise, you can pass it to list to get a list of tuples, or to tuple to get tuple of tuples, or to dict method to get a dictionary. And finally, the numbers from 0 to length of iterable minus 1, they become the keys, and the elements, that is these elements, they become the values. So let us see by an example. Here you have a variable str1 is equals to, here you have a string value, that is coding. This is a string value coding assigned to this variable str1. So E is equals to enumerate method you apply. Enumerate, inside the enumerate method you pass this str1 variable. Okay. Print E comma type E. So already we have seen enumerate method, what it will do. It will return you an enumerate object. So ultimately this E, it becomes your enumerate object. So once you print E comma type E, if you do this, then the enumerate object is seen here. Enumerate object created at which address, that address is displayed, and type E will determine what class it belongs to. It belongs to the class enumerate. Now I have not yet fetched out the values or elements from the enumerate object. Okay. Now just for your reference, the index position of capital C is 0. Then index position of O is 1. Then index position of D is 2. Index position of I is 3. Index position of N is 4. Index position of G is 5. The index position of the last element of any iterable can be found out how? Len of the iterable, minus 1. If you do this in that way also, you can get the last index position of the last element, which in our case is 5. How many elements you have got? Like this is a string. This string value has got how many number of elements? 6 characters, means 6 number of elements. So Len of iterable will be nothing but your 6. 6 minus 1 is equals to 5. Okay. Now dic is equals to, you apply the dict method, and inside the dict method you pass your enumerate object, that is E. So already told you what this dict method will do is that this will definitely give you a dictionary. The dict method will definitely give you a dictionary, and what it will do, it will basically map each and every element with the numbers. It will map each and every element with respect to the numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1, that is from 0 to 5. So dict of e, it will do what? It will map all the elements. It will map all the elements with the numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1, that means from 0 to 5. So it will map 0, for it will map 0 and C. Okay, then it will map 1 and O, then it will map 2 and D, then it will map 3 and I, then it will map 4 and N, then it will map 5 to your G. Okay, and these values, these numbers, they become the keys, whereas these elements, they become the values inside the dictionary, because dictionary always has keys to value pair. So these numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1, that is from 0 to 5 in our case, they will become the keys, and their corresponding values will be these individual elements. Okay, so if you want to create a dictionary out of this string, then you have to use the enumerate object. Okay, I use a enumerate method. You have to use, if you want to, get a dictionary out of the string value, then in between you have to use the enumerate method to get an enumerate object like E. Then pass the enumerate object inside the dict method, and you get a dictionary. Here dic will be a dictionary. Okay, so print dic. It will give you the dictionary. Here you see keys to value pairs. We have got a dictionary here, keys to value pairs. 0 is the key, and it is mapped to the which element? It is mapped to the first element of the string, that is capital C. Okay, so 0 is mapped to C, then 1 is mapped to O, 2 is mapped to D, 3 is mapped to I, 4 is mapped to N, 5 is mapped to G. So here these numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 become the keys, and these individual elements, characters, they become the values C, O, D, I, N, G, they become the values. So the this is the key and its corresponding values, this one. This is the key, its corresponding values O. 2 is the key, its corresponding values D. 3 is the key and its corresponding values I. 4 is the key and its corresponding values N. 5 is the key and its corresponding value is G. Okay. Type of DIC, if you do, what class it belongs to the class dict. And len of DIC means the length of the dictionary, how many number of elements it has got. There is how many number of keys to value pairs it has got. How many you can see already? 6. This is the first keys to value pair, 0 is to C. Then this is the second keys to value pair. Then this is the third keys to value pair. Then this is the fourth keys to value pair. Then this is the fifth keys to value pair, and then this is the sixth keys to value pair. So total there are 6 number of elements present inside this dictionary. Okay. Then further if you go, L is equals to, again now here we have a list. Inside this list we have these values: false, there is a boolean; none, there is none data type; coding, which is a string value; 5 plus 3j, which is a complex value. Okay. Now E is equals to enumerate of L. E is equals to enumerate of L. So I pass this list inside the enumerate method. So enumerate method will return you an enumerate object, and which is nothing but your E. So whenever you give this print E comma type E, then its output will be enumerate object. E is the enumerate object created at which address? At this particular memory address. What class it belongs to? Class enumerate. Okay. Now dic is equals to dict. Now inside this dict method, you are passing this enumerate object E. So what will be the index positions first of all? What is the index position of false? 0. Index position of none, it is 1. Index position of coding, it is 2. Index position of 5 plus 3j, it is 3. Okay. So dict method. Now, if you want to fetch the elements from the enumerate object, then you can pass it to either a list to get list of tuples, or to tuple to get tuple of tuples, or to dict to get a dictionary. And inside the dictionary, what will happen is, first of all, this dict method. Sorry, like previously, just by mistake, I told you that dict maps. Dict doesn't map. It is the enumerate method which maps. Dict doesn't map. Dict just is used to fetch the elements from the enumerate object. Okay. Dict is just used to fetch the elements from the enumerate object. It is the enumerate method which actually maps all the elements of the iterable with numbers ranging from 0 to 5. Same here also. This enumerate method, inside this you pass this list L, and it yields out an enumerate object which is represented by E. It belongs to the class enumerate. When you print E and type E, you get enumerate object at this address, class is enumerate. What this enumerate method does, this enumerate method, what it does, it basically maps all the elements of the iterable one by one with numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1. So here, this is a list, and these are the elements. This is the first element, false. None is the second element. Coding is the third element. 5 plus 3j is the fourth element. And these are the corresponding index positions. So from 0 to length of iterable minus 1. Here, uh, length of L minus 1. So is equals to, from 0 to, what is the length of L? How many elements inside the list you have got? 4 elements. Okay. So length of L will be nothing but 4 minus 1. So this becomes is equals to 0 to 3. I hope I am clear. The enumerate method, it maps all the elements of the iterable with numbers ranging from 0 to length of iterable minus 1. That means from 0 to, what is the length of the iterable? That is length of L, it is 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. So it will be mapping from 0 to 3. It will map the elements with numbers ranging from 0 to 3. So it will map this 0 to false, then 1 to none, then 2 to this coding, then it will map 3 to 5 plus 3j. Okay. Now we directly cannot get the elements from the enumerate object. Like it has mapped. The enumerate method has already mapped 0 to false, 1 to none, 2 to coding, 3 to 5 plus 3j, and mapping has been done, but we cannot see those directly. So to fetch the elements from the enumerate, object, which is nothing but your E, we have to pass the enumerate object inside the dict method. When we pass the enumerate object E inside the dict method, then we get a dictionary represented by this dic dict. Okay. So if you print dic dict, then what you will get? Here you will get a dictionary. And inside this dictionary, you will have values, keys to value pairs. When you give this print dic, when you give this print dic, then print dic will yield out the dictionary. Here you can see curly brace opening, curly brace, curly brace closing. Okay, curly brace closing. Inside this, you have keys to value pairs, keys to value, then keys to value, keys to value, keys to value. Okay, so you have keys to value pairs inside this dictionary, and how it maps. See, 0 has been mapped to false, then 1 has been mapped to none, then 2 has been mapped to coding, 3 has been mapped to 5 plus 3j. So these numbers from 0 to 3, these numbers from 0 to 3, they become what? They become the keys. 0 is the key, 1 is the key, 2 is the key, 3 is the key. And what are the values? Values are these elements like false, it becomes the corresponding value of this key 0. Then none, it becomes the value of this corresponding key 1. Then coding, coding becomes the corresponding value of this key 2. Then 5 plus 3j, 5 plus 3j becomes the corresponding value of this key 3. So how many number of keys to value pairs you have? First keys to value pair, second keys to value pair, third keys to value pair, fourth keys to value pair. And already we know that one keys to value pair is one element. Each keys to value pair inside the dictionary is treated as an element inside this dictionary. So altogether inside this dictionary we have got four. Altogether inside this dictionary we have got four number of keys to value pairs. That means four number of elements. So whenever we apply this alien function, whenever we apply this alien function over this dic length of the dictionary, it yields out 4, because 4 keys to value pairs you have 4 number of elements. Okay, just run this cell, and then finally moving we have zip method. Zip method also we have covered in our lists and tuple classes. Okay, it sequentially maps, zip method, as you can see, it sequentially maps each iterable's elements one after the other. Inside the zip method, if you remember, we pass iterables, multiple iterables, and it will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence. That's what it is written here. It gives back a zip object. Zip method, it gives back a zip object. We can send a zip object to the dict in order to retrieve its content. So zip method, inside the zip method we pass iterables. It will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence, gives back a zip object. Now to fetch the elements from the zip object, we have to pass it to the dict function here in order to fetch the elements from the zip object. Previously, we can pass the zip object to a list to get list of tuples. We have covered. We can pass the zip object to a tuple to get tuple of tuples. And here we can also pass the zip object to the dict method so as to get a dictionary in order to retrieve the contents of the zip object. Okay. A dictionary is returned where the elements of the first iterable become the keys and the elements of the second iterable become the values. Very, very important. So please remember that in previously, in case of lists or tuple, we could pass multiple number of iterables inside the zip method. Two number of iterables, three number of iterables, four number of iterables. There was no limit. But whenever we are trying to use the dict method in order to retrieve the contents from the zip object, then in that case we are trying to create a dictionary, and inside a dictionary you have only keys to value pairs. So in this scenario what happens is, inside the zip method you have to pass two iterables, nothing less, nothing more. Inside the dict method you have to pass two iterables, nothing less, nothing more, nothing less than two, nothing more than two. The elements of the first iterable, the elements of the first iterable, they become the keys, and the elements of the second iterable, they become the values. Okay, two iterables are required always. Two iterables are required always. So let us see. Here you have the first iterable, which is a string str1 is equals to these string characters, as you can see. So these are string type iterable, string data type iterable. Okay, str1. The next is str2. Inside this, I pass this list 1, 2, 3, 4. Now z is equals to, and you write zip. So this is the zip method. And as I told you, whenever you're trying to create a dictionary out of a zip object, then you have to use the zip method. And inside the zip method, you have to pass two iterables, nothing less, nothing more. So inside this zip method here, we are trying to pass two iterables. This is the first iterable str1, and this is the second iterable str2. Nothing less, nothing more. Okay. So zip method, what it will do, it will map, zip method, what it will do, it will map all the elements. It will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence and shall return you a zip object. Zip method, what it will do is that it will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence and will return you a zip object. Here Z is the zip object. You see, in the next line I've written print Z comma type Z. So here the Z is zip object which is printed here. Zip object created at this memory address, hexadecimal memory address, and type of Z means what class it belongs to. It belongs to the class zip. Okay. And how will it map? Zip method, it will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence. So here, these are the two iterables, str1 and str2. Str1, how many elements it has got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Str2, how many elements it has got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So it will map, it will zip method, it will map W and 1. It will map W to 1. Okay. Then it will map V and 2. Then it will map U and 3. Then it will map X and 4. Okay. Then it will try to map Y. Y is the fifth element of str1. So it will try to look out for the fifth element of str2. But in str2 you do not have any fifth element. Str2 has got maximum 4 number of elements. So it will be able to map. It will be able to map only up to X starting from W. It will be zip method. In this case it will be able to map only up to X starting from W. So it will map first of all W and 1, then it will map V and 2, then it will map U and 3, then it will map X and 4. Beyond X it cannot go, because for that there need to be extra elements inside str2 also. Then only fifth element of str1 will be mapped to the fifth element of str2. But in str2 you do not have any fifth element, you have maximum 4 number of elements. So this mapping is done internally by the zip method, but we cannot see. We cannot see the elements of the zip object. Just the memory address is written here. Okay. Now, in order to retrieve the contents of the zip object, we need to pass it inside the dict method. So here you have dic is equals to, here you have the dict method. Inside the dict method, we pass this zip object, that is Z, because we have not yet retrieved the contents out of this zip object. In order to retrieve the contents out of the zip object, either you pass it to the list to get list of tuples, or pass it to tuple to get tuple of tuples, or to the dict method to get a dictionary. And in case of dictionary, if that is the case, that you're going to create a dictionary, then you can pass two iterables maximum. Not You have to pass two iterables inside the zip method, nothing less, nothing more. Now when you pass this zip object inside this dict method, when you pass this zip object inside the dict method, then you will get a dictionary represented by this dic. Okay, so print dic comma type dic. Print dic. Dic is nothing but your dictionary, as you can see here. Curly brace, then keys to value pairs. Curly brace opening you saw, keys to value pairs, and then finally curly brace is closed. Type of dic means which class it belongs to. Class is dict, dictionary. Okay, and here how it is mapped, you see. W of str1 is mapped to 1 of str2. Then V of str1 is mapped to 2 of str2. Then U of str1 is mapped to the third element of str2, that is 3. Then X, which is the fourth element of str1, is mapped to the fourth element of str2, which is 4. X is mapped to 4. So W is the key. As I already told you, the elements of the first iterable, they become the keys, and the elements of the second iterable become the values. So W, V, U, X, they become the keys, and the values are nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4. The elements of the first iterable become the keys, elements of the second iterable become the values. So elements of the first iterable become the keys mean str1. With respect to str1, its elements, they become the keys. W is the key, its corresponding value is 1. 1 is coming from str2. V is the key coming from str1, its corresponding value is 2 coming from str2. U is the key coming from str1, its corresponding value is 3 coming from str2. X is the key coming from str1 and its corresponding value is 4 coming from str2. Okay. So elements of the first iterable become the keys, elements of the second iterable become the values. Here you have another variable fruits, and then I have passed here a list. This is a list. Okay. Inside this list, you have various types of fruits like apple, banana, grapes, orange, blueberry, kiwi, pineapple. What is the length of fruits? Seven. Seven types of fruits I've written here. Seven number of elements are there inside this list. From apple to pineapple, if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now colors. This is another variable to which I have also assigned a list. Inside this list, you have got the colors. That means the corresponding colors of the fruits. That's what I'm trying to write here. The corresponding colors of the fruits, like red. Red is the color of apple. Yellow is the color of banana. Then green is the color of grapes. Like this, orange, blue, brown, and yellow. So seven elements you have got in fruits. Seven elements you have got in colors. Generate a dictionary where fruits are the keys and their colors are the values. So what to do? First of all, z is equals to zip. Inside the zip method, you have to pass two iterables, nothing more, nothing less, because we are trying to create a dictionary. So these two iterables you have to pass. What are those? Fruits, comma, colors. So fruits will be treated as the first iterable, colors will be treated as the second iterable. And zip method, it will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence and will return a zip object. What is a zip object? Z. So when you do print z comma type z, here you get zip object at this particular memory address. Which class it belongs to? Zip class. Okay. So it will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence. So zip method will map the first element of fruits to the first element of colors. Then it will map the second element, that is banana, of fruits to the second element of colors, that is yellow. Then it will map grapes to green, third to third. Then it will map this fourth element, orange, to the fourth element of colors, which is orange only. The color of orange is orange only. Then it will map blueberry, which is the fifth element of fruits, to the fifth element of colors, that is blue. Then it will map kiwi, which is the sixth element of fruits, to the sixth element of colors, that is kiwi to brown. Previously it was blueberry to blue, now kiwi to brown. And then moving on, it maps the seventh element of fruits, that is pineapple, to the seventh element of colors, that is yellow. Okay. So this is how zip method will do the mapping. It will map all the elements of all the iterables one by one in sequence and return a zip object. But we are not able to retrieve the contents from the Z. We are not able to retrieve the contents from the zip object Z. Z here is the zip object. We are not able to retrieve the contents out of this zip object. So what to do? You have to pass this zip object inside the dictionary method. You have to pass this zip object, that is Z, inside the dict method. And what it will do? It will yield out a dictionary represented by DIC. Okay. So you have to pass this zip object Z inside the dict method to get a dictionary, and this dictionary is represented by DIC. So print DIC if you do, then you see this entire dictionary has been generated here. Keys to value pairs, where the elements of the first iterable have been mapped to the elements of the second iterable. You see, this is the dictionary. Okay. What type of DIC? Type of DIC is, it belongs to which class? Dict class, that is dictionary class. And then you have len of dic, length of the dictionary. How many elements you have got? Seven elements. That means seven keys to value pairs. Inside this dictionary you have got seven keys to value pairs. That means seven elements you have got inside this dictionary. Seven keys to value pairs mean seven elements inside this dictionary. You see, apple is mapped to red. Apple is the key, red is the value. Banana is mapped to yellow. Banana is the key, yellow is the value. Grapes is mapped to green. Grapes is the key, green is the value. Orange is mapped to orange. Orange is the key, and this orange is the value. This orange comes from fruits. This orange comes from colors. Here, this was the fourth element of fruits, and this was the fourth element of colors. Then blueberry is mapped to blue. Blueberry is the fifth element of fruits, and blue is the fifth element of colors. So this is the key, and its corresponding blueberry is the key, and its corresponding value is blue. Then here you have another keys to value pair. Kiwi. Kiwi is the sixth element of fruits, and brown is the sixth element of colors. So here you have kiwi mapped to brown. Kiwi is the key, brown is the value. And finally you have pineapple is to yellow. Pineapple is the seventh element of fruits, and yellow is the seventh element of colors. So here key is to value. That is, pineapple is mapped to yellow, where pineapple is the key, yellow is the value. Okay. And here just additional things, print alien of fruits, that is length of fruits, 7 elements we know. So printed as 7. Print alien of colors, how many elements you've got inside the colors, that is also 7. And finally print alien of dict, that is print alien of dic, that is this dictionary, it is also 7. 7 elements it has got. 7 elements it has got. Okay, because 7 keys to value pairs it has got. That's why this is the first keys to value pair, second keys to value pair, third keys to value pair, fourth keys to value pair, fifth keys to value pair, sixth keys to value pair, and the seventh keys to value pair. Okay, so that's it for this class, my dear friends. If you like this class, then you can hit the like, share, and subscribe button and press the bell icon for notifications. So thank you.